What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. Today we're going to be giving my thoughts, review, reaction and analysis of Manchester City's Derby Day defeat against Manchester United at Old Trafford by 2-1. There is a lot to speak about, so we're just going to very quickly get through the intro. So please subscribe to my channel, that would be much appreciated. We're very close to 28k subscribers, less than 40 subs away, so any help towards that would be much appreciated. Social media links, they're in the description below, sliding across at the bottom of the screen if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. TikTok link also in the description if you want to go and follow me on there. Leave a thumbs up as well if you do enjoy this video. Also don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comments below, including what you thought went wrong here for Manchester City, and most importantly let me know your thoughts of that decision from Stuart Attwell, the referee, in terms of the Marcus Rashford offside goal for Bruno Fernandes. And finally, I just want to give a big shout out to today's video sponsor, which is brought to you by OneFootball. This video is brought to you by OneFootball. If you want to download the OneFootball app, all you need to do is press the link at the top of my description, which will take you forward to where you can download this app. The OneFootball app is extremely useful if you are a huge football fan just like me. It provides you with the latest footballing news, transfer news, and the latest videos as well. It is one source of information of where I get my transfer news from. It also allows you to see the latest scores with what's happening in the footballing world. If you just click on a game, including any Manchester City game, it will not only bring up the latest team news, but it will also bring up the latest statistics and keep you up to date with everything happening in that game. If you want to download this app, all you need to do is press the link at the top of the description to stay up to date. Thank you very much to OneFootball for sponsoring this video, much appreciated. Go and check them out, links, details there in the description. So let's crack on with this video. We'll very briefly, before we get onto the real juice of that goal, we'll just quickly give a very quick summary of the game. Now, first half, very flat. Thought United probably should have scored at least once. City didn't have any shots on target. Defensively, we looked a little bit tighter than what we did against Southampton, and I was more of a fan of the back four than I am of the back three, and I thought City's back line looked a little bit more settled. I thought everyone across the back four for the first half didn't have too bad of a game, and actually, up until that offside, I actually thought the City's defensive line held themselves pretty well, and considering it's not got John Stones, Aymeric Laporte or Ruben Dias, who in my opinion are the top three choices of centre-backs for Manchester City, I thought the back line actually held themselves pretty well for Manchester City up until the 77th minute. City second half better up until again the game changer with the decision from Stuart Attwell. Did well to find that first goal. Kevin De Bruyne, a good ball from a deep area inside the penalty area, works it across. Haaland looked like he wanted it. Jack Grealish came on for Phil Foden in the second half, so right place at the right time. Good for Jack Grealish, nods the ball into the back of the net, and Jack Grealish really showed the right temperament for what you would expect for one of the biggest derbies in the world and one of the biggest derbies in England as well, showing the real passion there, scoring the goal, sliding in front of the City fans. He knew what it meant to Manchester City, his aggression shown in the game and his aggression shown towards the referee in what is my opinion here, a rightful reaction from Jack Grealish, from the Manchester City side as well, because I'm calling absolute BS on that goal, and I will speak about it and we will digest it, and I will inform you right now that every direction that I've looked at that goal, I cannot, even 1% of me can't even say actually that might have been a goal, because nothing of it smells of a goal to me, and the decisions that should have been made have not been made. But overall, City's performance a little bit lacklustre. It concerns me that over the course of 180 minutes of our last two games, we've had just one shot on target, very clinical with one goal. But if you're going to score one goal over two games, you can't expect to win these games. City should have been pushing much harder, having shots at David De Gea, because in my opinion, David De Gea has a mistake or two in him. I'd have been peppering him with shots. Get within 20 yards of the penalty area, have shots, deflections, rebounds. It might just fall kindly to... We've got one of the best strikers in the world in Erling Haaland. We just didn't find a way of getting Erling Haaland involved in this game, and people have been speaking about Erling Haaland and criticising him. He's the Premier League top goal scorer. How can you criticise a player player that is still on course for 40-plus Premier League goals in the season and currently the top goal scorer in the Premier League. Man City haven't found a way of getting him involved, and United sat very deep on him. Defensively, United looked very good, and playing with a makeshift centre-back in Luke Shaw, I thought, had a very good game. Man City, it's up to City to find ways to get Haaland involved in the game, and once we found that first goal, the space was opening up and City should have been finding him, and it's just that final end product in the final third just wasn't that great from Manchester City overall. And to be honest, if the game had finished level, finished 1-1, and the legit goal that United had scored was the only goal United had scored and said 1-1, I would have said it was a fair result and it had been concerning from City. So with all that in mind, the concerns are still there. City aren't playing very well, and what City need to be careful of, regardless of the Premier League, we've got a big game against Arsenal coming up in the FA Cup, we've got the Champions League as well, and yet this form since started just before the turn of the World Cup, with our last match of the before we broke for the World Cup against Brentford, that the bad forms kind of continued from there, and City haven't looked settled, have not found a settled back four, they've not found a way of making it work between defence and midfield and attack, and it just all looks very clueless, and dare I suggest maybe just a little bit poisonous around there in terms of atmosphere from the players, because nothing just seems to be linking up and working, and no one really seems to be taking any accountability. No one seems to know what's wrong, and if you can't identify what the problem is, then you can't sort the problem out. And that's where my biggest concern is, and this is a disappointing result, and I'll tell you right now, between now and the end of the season, there's going to be more disappointing results, because if City want to play catch-up to Arsenal, they might drop points tomorrow against Spurs. I wouldn't rule out them dropping points tomorrow against Spurs. They'll be motivated, but even if they win, we're 8 points behind. It's not an impossible target to be able to break down, considering we've still got to play Arsenal twice, but it's just City don't look like they're going to get that run that's needed. And it happens every season, season upon season. City go 8, 9, 10, 11 games in a row in the Premier League, winning every single game. That is what sets Manchester City different to every other team in the Premier League. City, in my opinion, are the only team in the Premier League that can do that, and they look so far away from making that happen. It's absolutely unreal. They look shot of confidence. They look clueless. They make hard work of teams they shouldn't be making hard work of. We've been playing well against teams around us, and then all of a sudden come here at Old Trafford, look like we've finally turned the corner, not play very well, pick up a win, show signs of champions, and bam, decision goes against us, heads drop, we switch off, we lose the game. And that to me is not good enough. It's not good enough that we concede a disappointing goal and a couple of minutes later United go on to score another because they switch off. Why was Nathan Ake covering in at right back? What's going on there? City switched off and they'd allowed their emotions to get the better of them. And City normally very controlled with their emotions. And I get it, it's a derby game, but still, you've got to remain focused. Manchester United, before this game, were in 4th place, just 4 points behind City in good form. And they're not there doing well for no reason. They've got a good manager who's got them organised. They know how to play football. And Manchester City, all we need to do is turn up and play well. And that's what we need to do game after game. City's quality is so high. All they need to do is turn up and play well. And 99 times out of 100, Manchester City will win them games. And it's very disappointing that today, regardless of what happened in terms of that decision, it didn't happen. And City last 13 minutes looked clueless. They didn't know how to sort it out. And they just... To me, I saw it against Real Madrid last year in them difficult moments when a team's just got something about them to be able to find a goal or two out of nowhere within a couple of minutes, and City just goes shell-shocked and they don't know what to do. And they stand around feeling sorry for themselves, and it bit us last year and it's bit us again this year. And I don't know why. I just have a feeling City are going to run the Premier League pretty close. I have a feeling inside me that we're going to run it close but come up short. And I'm going to be looking back at days like today. I'm going to be coming back to the match against Everton where we drew 1-1, where we should have won the game and put that game to bed. And we didn't. And it's just continuing and it's spiralling and it's spiralling. And I'm going to repeat what I've been saying. We picked up a good win against Chelsea. It looked like the tide had turned and we're no longer focused on looking behind our shoulder and looking at the top four. We're focused on the top of the Premier League. And every bloody time we get close to getting some pressure, real pressure onto Arsenal, we blow it away. Today, I can excuse a little bit that it was through no fault of our own, because City, for the first 77 minutes, looked pretty solid for seeing out that 1-0. And if the correct decision was made, in my opinion, with the offside flag, and they're stuck with the on-field decision from the linesman, I think City go on to win this game. But it doesn't take away the fact that Manchester City didn't play very well, and it concerns me. We've got a brilliant Tottenham team coming up, a very well-drilled, very well-organised team at the Etihad, where, quite frankly, City end up losing that game. We're in a real tussle for the top four. Spurs, Liverpool, I'm sure will find some form before the end of the season. Newcastle are looking pretty good. United are hot on our tails. We're far behind Arsenal right now. 5 points, could become 8 after tomorrow. Man City need a reality check. They need to be focused. It's frustrating. City's season just seems to be going collapsing on itself, and they need to be careful. They really do need to be careful. And my biggest concern that I have is they don't know what the problem is, and it needs leaders on the pitch to take the game by the scruff of the neck. It needs, when Man City are 1-0 up in a difficult game, to motivate the players to say, step up, push and get that second goal and kill this bloody game off. And it didn't come here. I was crying out for it on my watch along. I was encouraging, keep pushing, keep going, push and get that second goal. That City goal in the build-up to it was coming for the 5 minutes before it. City were really putting that pressure on. Why has that intensity dropped off once we'd scored? Keep it up, push and get that second goal. United did it. Why didn't we? Inexcusable. Now, that goal, I've given all my thoughts on that on Twitter. It is not a legit goal, in my opinion. I've been reading comments about it from City fans, from United fans, Arsenal fans, fans from around the Premier League, fans from abroad that watch the Premier League looking in. And I think the fans looking in from an international audience make a great point. The one thing they love about the Premier League is the quality of the Premier League, and they want the quality to come out on top. United have got a decent manager and are on the up. We know that. We already know that. And I don't mind Manchester City losing when the quality is shown on the pitch. Today, we got robbed. We had 3 points snatched away from us. And it was snatched away from us because the officials didn't do their job. And the outsiders looking in from the international audience, they're watching the Premier League, and I'm seeing two kinds of reactions. Number one, they're laughing. It's a joke. The top of the Premier League, the creme de la creme, what is so-called the best league in the world. And the officiating is shocking. The fact that Stuart Attwell is taking all of the headlines, the Premier League will be revelling in it because people are talking about it, people are clicking it, people are interacting with it, and they think that's a good thing. And Stuart Attwell from this is going to get a promotion. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets given the important games, the FA Cup semi-finals, the FA Cup finals, the big Premier League games, and he shouldn't. That decision was the incorrect decision that has cost Manchester City 3 points, and 3 points could cost us the Premier League. He should be nowhere near another Premier League game. Stuart Attwell's best summed up from that Reading game years and years back, where he gave a goal, where it went over the line. It went over the line for a goal kick. It wasn't between the posts. It wasn't between the sticks. That sums up his officiating. Right from there, his contract should have been ripped up because it's inept. It is absolutely inept. You go and do your work day after day after day after day, and you make such a costly mistake, you'd be reprimanded for it. You'd be given a warning for it, not encouraged and promoted. And season upon season, he's doing more and more big games after big games, and he's finally got it, the Manchester derby, the chance to make it all about him, and he's definitely gone and done that. It's an absolute disgrace. Again, I refer to the international audience looking into the Premier League and watching it and saying, actually, they think it gets talked, it thinks it gets interactions, it encourages people to go and watch another league that's got fair, competent officials. Because the Premier League do not have competent, fair officials. How on earth The referee is not in a position to be able to comment on that goal. The official that's in the best position is the linesman. The flag goes up. The linesman says offside. That is the on-field instinct. The decision that is given is offside. Now, if the referee disagrees with it, all it takes is one thing, and it's been put in place for that to happen. All he needs to do, finger into his ear, hi VAR, I'm not sure about this, the linesman's given it offside, the on-field decision is offside, can you help me to make the correct decision? And he doesn't. He overrules the linesman. He has a conversation with the linesman. I think, and I can't back this up, I don't know what the linesman said to the referee. I've got a feeling here that the linesman's shown no backbone in such a big game. He's seen that Rashford hasn't touched the ball, and so he's thought to himself, he's not touched the ball, he's not offside, so actually I'm going to change my mind and goal given. What they should have said is, Rashford was in an offside position, clarify the rules, and VAR help us to make the correct call. Because that doesn't happen, VAR stick with the on-field decision. To overturn on VAR, it has to be clear and obvious. And it isn't clear and obvious because it's down to an opinion that Pep Guardiola has correctly put out there. The decision for the Manchester City players, including Ederson and the defenders, is they presume Marcus Rashford is onside. So they prepare themselves as though Rashford is onside and Rashford potentially in a position to score a goal. Rashford knows he's offside. He leaves that ball. He doesn't take that shot because he knows that Bruno Fernandes is onside and potentially he isn't. Now, why didn't Marcus Rashford, if he knows he's offside, not make the run? And he makes the run because he knows he's got Manuel Akanji right behind him, tracking him. If Rashford doesn't make that run and he doesn't impede Akanji at the very least can make an attempt on the ball for an interception, or if Fernandes takes the shot, it's a 2-on-1. They have the potential of saving the block. Ederson has to prepare himself for either Fernandes or Rashford taking the shot, so he positions himself better for Rashford to take the shot because Rashford gets to the ball ahead of Fernandes. He then shields the ball away from the defenders to make it so Bruno Fernandes can have a nice clean shot into the back of the net. I have no idea how BT Sports official, I forget his name, I don't care what his name is, actually sits there by the rule of the book and says that that is a goal because Marcus Rashford offside is interfering with the play. There needs to be further clarity on this, and you mark my words, going into next season there'll be another rule put in for a similar situation, and I reckon they'll try and put a stop to this. I do not get why the referee hasn't asked VAR to intervene and stick with the on-field decision of the instinct of offside. He's in an offside position, we're not sure if he's interfered with play, we know he's not touched the ball, can you have a look at it, what do you think? There needs to be more clarity from the officials. There needs to be more clarity from VAR. And the way they do that, hook the microphones up to the referee. They've got mics on, hook it up so everyone can hear what they're saying. You can listen to TV umpires in cricket. I can listen to rugby league and rugby union officials and their decision making and their thought processing. Why on earth can't we listen to football's officials and what they're saying? And I'll tell you why. Because it's corrupt. Now, corruption, honestly, you think JSGC's waffling BS here. I'm not waffling BS here. Corruption comes in many different forms, and the thing you associate most with corruption is taking bribes for money. I don't think that has happened. I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I've heard of indications of this happening previously. However, what has happened here is the referee's seen a great opportunity to make it all about him. And he's done that. And what he's done in making it all about him is give an incorrect decision by the rules of the law, which has cost Manchester City points. It could cost Manchester City very dearly. It could cost us the Premier League. It could cost us a top 4 finish. It could cost us a lot of money. That is also corrupt because you are influencing the game with your decision, with your own bias, to seek gain. And his gain will be because the Premier League They're biased and they're quite frankly awful is they'll continue with Stuart Attwell taking charge of games and the big games. Whereas really, incorrect decisions being made, it should be clarified that an incorrect decision has been made. I could argue a case that decisions can be made after the game has been made, that if it's incorrect, a correct decision is being made. And the whole reason you have officials, the whole reason you have VAR is so correct decisions are being made and they haven't been made, and it's cost Manchester City here. And I'm absolutely furious about that. We have been robbed today of 3 points against Manchester United in a huge game in the Manchester derby. And I am absolutely furious about that. The point of VAR was to take away these moments of talked about moments so they're no longer there. And yet they're still there. It makes VAR redundant and more competent officials are needed in the Premier League. Pep Guardiola is furious because the City defenders don't know who to mark, who to go for. Rashford's interfering with play. In my opinion, the rules need to be crystal clear. And the crystal clear would be if the player makes the run in an offside position, you're offside. Regardless of if you touch it or not, you've deemed to go for that ball. Rashford went for that ball, then left it. The only way I would disagree that it's not offside is if Rashford stopped Fernandes, then takes a touch, and then Rashford can be back active in the game again. And if it ends up next phase, Rashford ends up scoring, it's fine because he stopped playing in the original build-up to the play where he was offside, and it's not happened. It absolutely blows my mind. This is the type of thing I would expect. I wouldn't even expect this in lower league football. I really wouldn't expect this. It's a disgrace that standards of officiating are where they are in the Premier League, and it needs to be addressed. The standard of officiating across the world is poor. The World Cup officiating, some of the decisions were inept, absolutely inept, and for some reason it needs ironing out, and it needs ironing out ASAP, because it is going to actively encourage people away from the Premier League. It'll actively encourage people away from football because it's not a fair game. People will then go to watch sports that is fair, where correct decisions are made. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Decisions are being made when it's as clear and as obvious as what it was today. It's corruption at its highest order, and it's a disgrace. Man United are delighted with that. I'm sure Arsenal fans, if they win tomorrow, will be delighted with that result as well. However, everybody else should be pretty damn concerned about it, because this won't be the last time that this happens. And the way that United have reacted to it, not bitter at all when I say this, wink wink, but I hope that they get sucker punched with it as well, so they know how it feels. I hope that it happens in a huge game with a huge reliability on there that potentially it ends up costing them. So then they know how it feels. Because it's a disgrace, it's an absolute disgrace, and it needs to be addressed. They're my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new around here. Social media links in the description below as well if you want to go and check them out, and also sliding across at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget as well to leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy this video. OneFootball, today's video sponsor, linked in the description if you want to go and check them out. And I'll see you all again very soon. And most importantly, like I said, do let me know your thoughts of that offside in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Peace. Ciao for now.